Welcome to another episode of Nac Edition. I'm your host, Jaden Washington. We have an exciting episode ahead with some news and events, an interview with Mark Levis from the Sylvans Lumberjack team, and an inside look of how the SFA Sylvans team prepares for a competition. After the War of 1812, many veterans of the war made Nacogdoches their home. Last week, those war veterans were celebrated with a brand new historical marker here in downtown Nacogdoches. This historical figure, which took 3 years to make, was finally showcased last week right outside the Mercantile Shop on East Pillar and South Fredonia Street. It is a testament to those who fought for their lives in the war and celebrates the lives of the local 32 veterans that have since passed. It was chosen to be placed on the Mercantile Shop because of the building's rich history as downtown's least altered historic storefront. Because of the historical integrity, the building is the perfect place to hold the marker for years to come. This is the first for Nacogdoches publicly acknowledging these veterans with a historical landmark. These men were leaders within the community and served with great patriotism, and now they will always be remembered in Nacogdoches. Looking to buy your outfit for SFA graduation this fall? Perhaps you just need the gown to complete your graduation attire. Or maybe you need the full cap and gown set to be ready for graduation. Whichever piece of clothing you need, be careful because you may be in for an unpleasant surprise. SFA recently announced that they will be strongly encouraging students to wear the newly unveiled cap and gowns. The new cap and gowns have purple sleeves and an SFA logo and are also more expensive than the original. This means that there will be 2 different types of attire at the same graduation due to the students already purchasing the original cap and gown. Many students and parents believe that they should have been told in advance about the changes. SFA is trying its best to make the situation better by changing the rules from requiring the new cap and gowns to only strongly encouraging them. If you wish to purchase the cap and gown for graduation, then you can go online or to Barnes & Noble or Jack Backer's on the SFA campus. Your East Texas's very own Co Wetzel will be performing here live in Nacogdoches on October 23rd at the Nacogdoches Expo and Civic Center, presented by Bonita Creek Hall. The Texas-born singer, songwriter, guitarist, and producer kicks out hard rock hooks with a twang bred in rough and tumble dives, yet meant for stadium stages. Since 2015, he has quietly sold over 200,000 units independently, cranked out 100 million streams and views, and went from playing bars with chicken wire in front of the stage to hosting and headlining his own show called Co Wetzel's Incredible Music Festival. Co Wetzel will share the stage with popular East Texas country artist William Clark Green and the Huser Brothers. The concert begins at 7 and will go throughout the night, ending with headliner Co Wetzel. Make sure to get your tickets before they run out, as they are going fast. Tickets for general admission are $50. This will be a great show and you don't want to miss it. We hope to see all of you there to enjoy the great music by Co Wetzel. The SFA Food Lab provides the SFA and Nacogdoches community with great food. We had Jonay make a visit and see what it is all about.
Today we're outside the Lumberjack Express, which is SFA's mobile food truck. The food truck is run by Chef Todd, Dr. Fix, and their culinary students. It's always parked right here outside of the College of Annex building every Tuesday and Thursday at 11 a.m. Today on the menu, Philly cheesesteak wraps and maple bacon ice cream. Man, that sounds great.
The mobile food trucks gives a hands-on learning experience for students while offering a culinary delight for fans of the University Hospitality Administration program. Guests are encouraged to arrive before 12:30 because the food sells out fast. Students love the mobile food truck, so if you haven't checked it out, you should. I got a chance to talk with Chef Todd about preparing for the semester of serving food and how he's working with his students. Let's check it out.
When my class is using the truck, I set the menus before the semester starts so we can start having pre-sales so the students know ahead of time what they're going to be making. Basically, for the Tuesdays and Thursdays that we're in operation, I tell them, explain to them what the menu is for that day, and we get started at 8 o'clock in the morning, get everything prepped up and ready to go for that day. So we're not making anything ahead of time. It's all made fresh the day of each meal. Interesting, because it's not just culinary students, because it's incorporated in my senior level food production class. It's all hospitality majors. So there's people who are focused on tourism, lodging, restaurant management, event planning, and culinary. So all of our hospitality students have to take this course and they are being exposed to things they probably never thought they would be exposed to.
If Tuesdays and Thursdays street food is not your style, they have more healthier options Wednesday parked outside the rec at 11 a.m. That is run by Dr. Fix and the culinary students as well. They're partnered with SFA's wellness program to give you more healthier options.
If you want more information about what's being served, make sure you check out the Lumberjack Express social media platforms at SFA Food Lab.
The Boys and Girls Club of Deep East Texas will be celebrating an exciting event today, and everyone in the community can join in on it. The Nacogdoches County Chamber of Commerce will be hosting a ribbon-cutting ceremony for their Leadership Nacogdoches Community Service project at the Boys and Girls Club on October 20th. The ceremony is celebrating a kitchen renovation with the Leadership Nacogdoches 2020 to 2021 class and the Boys and Girls Club staff and board members with Dakota Marks as ambassador captain. Leadership Nacogdoches is a program of the Nacogdoches County Chamber's Community Development Division. This will be an exciting moment for the Boys and Girls Club of Deep East Texas. The event will take place at the Boys and Girls Club at 941 Tower Road and will start at 4:30 p.m. But if you cannot be there in person, they will also be doing a Facebook Live so you can tune into the ceremony. For more information, contact LN class member Morgan McCrory at 903-875-8524. Now let's send it over to Blake to talk to us about the SFA Theater production, Booty Candy.
Robert O'Hara's Booty Candy, directed by Cleo House, and even got the opportunity to sit down with the director himself.
I chose Booty Candy because, first of all, it's a play that I feel like has opportunities for students in our department who don't necessarily always have opportunities. And also, it's a play that I wish I would have had for me when I was a theater student. And the final thing is, I think it's a show that our students on campus need to see. It's a play that represents other slices of life that we don't necessarily get to see in theater all the time. I think this theater tends to be very white and straight. And so this play features a mostly black cast and deals with a lot of issues surrounding being gay and coming out and of course a lot of other stuff that has nothing to do with those things.
Booty Candy is obviously an important play to Cleo House and the students involved, but it is also an important play because it showcases how far the theater world has progressed, especially within the college.
When I was in undergrad, I remember asking one of my professors, do they do multicultural casting in the department? And what that means is basically, will you mix races? Can the father be black and the mother white and the child Latino? Will you just cast this based on talent? And at that time, I was told by the faculty member, no, we don't do that. Our audiences aren't ready for it. And I remember thinking, well, they'll never be ready if you don't do it.
Nacogdoches County Sheriff Jason Bridges reported 49 people incarcerated at the county jail have confirmed cases of COVID-19 in a video shared on Facebook Tuesday evening. By Monday, the number of active cases at the jail had dropped to 45. 11 inmates have received antibody infusions that helped most of them. A couple more inmates had been scheduled to receive infusions shortly after Bridges posted the video. Bridges hopes that by using this newer treatment modality and following the protocol established by the physician that serves as the medical director for the jail, the number of cases remain far below what they saw in the first wave. Health officials estimate 351 active cases of COVID-19 in Nacogdoches County as of Friday, with 5,465 confirmed cases and 2,087 probable cases reported since the pandemic began. They estimate 6,989 have recovered and 215 Nacogdoches residents have died. Stay right with us. After the break, we will be sitting down with Sylvan's team member Mark Levis to discuss the trophy-winning team and how they prepare for success. Welcome back to Nac Edition. I'm Jaden Washington. Joining me in the studio today is Sylvan's team member Mark Levis. How are you doing today, Mark?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Good. Thank you for asking. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. So recently, I saw that you guys, tied for first in the Arkansas State Lumberjack competition, and your faculty advisor, Dr. Stovall, called that your toughest competition since returning from COVID. So can you kind of walk me through how you prepare for a competition of that caliber and just what goes into it?
Yeah, well, this competition, we pretty much do it every year, and we do pretty much win it almost every year. It's one of our funnest events. It's a lot of fun. We prepare for it just like any other competition. Try and get as many people out there practicing as much as we can. Whenever we practice, we use really dull saws, really dull axes, and then we cut on really hard wood that's really dry. This is because when we're in actual competition, we use our sharpest, best equipment on really soft wood, so we're able to go through it even faster than a lot of other schools that don't practice as intense as we do.
Okay, see, I would think that would be opposite. I would think that you would want to practice with what you're going to be using, so that's interesting that you say that you practice with duller knives and stuff.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, because we don't want to, a lot of our saws and equipment, you can easily break it, and they're very expensive tools, so we try to touch them as little as possible.
That makes sense. Yeah. So as far as your competition goes, how many teams do you typically compete against, and do you do any extensive research on your opponents, or what goes into that?
So Dr. Stovall is one of the most organized people I've ever seen in my life. Every competition, he records what the other teams are, their times for every competition. He gets their names, and he pays really close attention to the other schools. Right. So as far as scouting out other teams, that's pretty much all on him. Okay. He tells us, and then we try and beat those times as best as we can in practice. What was the rest of the question?
No, yeah, you answered. You're fine.
Yeah, pretty much.
You're fine. And so you said that before when we were talking, that there are 12 other collegiate teams. So what kind of makes SFA stand out? What is different about the Sylvans team?
The Sylvans team at SFA, we are a lot more into it than other schools are. A lot of times when you go to a competition, other schools will bring 8 people out and they wear normal clothes. But whenever SFA comes, I mean, it's a wave of purple. We got a lot of times 30 people out there with us cheering on only 4 competitors. Okay. And everybody wears purple, and every time we have somebody competing, everybody stands around them and is just screaming their head off, trying to cheer them on, type of thing.
That's cool that you get to bring some of your teammates, even the ones that aren't competing, that you get to bring them along and that they're able to experience it too.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So in the past, you guys have held what is called the Lumberjack Games.
Yes, ma'am.
Where people on campus can come and compete in timber sports where they usually don't get to. So can you tell me a little bit about that, what you guys do and why it's important for y'all to do those kinds of things?
The Lumberjack Games has been a tradition for a very long time. We've kind of fallen out of it though. The first time we brought it back was actually right before COVID.
Yeah.
We had about
homecoming, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
It's always on homecoming, and in the past they used to present the trophy and everything during the halftime show at the football game. But it's kind of fallen out of tradition, and the year before COVID, when we brought it back, we kept it all in the Sylvans Courtyard by the Forestry Building. Okay. We're doing the same thing this year. I believe October 30th is homecoming.
Yeah.
That's when we're having another competition. We're taking teams right now. We're doing teams of 4 people. Anybody is welcome to join. It's $10 to sign up. But
we might have to make a team and come out there.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. So when competing in timber sports, what would you say is more important, strength or skill?
It's all about the skill.
Really? Yeah.
Honestly, I would say strength will be third. Okay. It's all about technique is most important, and then endurance is the next important. A lot of the events are very tiring, and so you have to have the stamina to just keep sawing or keep pushing through. But the main thing is technique. If you have the proper technique, what's the saying? Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. That's a saying that they say. If you have the right technique, you will be doing things a lot more correctly. Sawing and everything, our saws, the teeth and the rakers and everything on the saw are very aggressive. And when it's cutting, it can easily snag or get hung up on knots in the wood or whatnot. And if you don't have the proper technique, then you're just going to get stuck and not be able to move anywhere.
Yeah. So y'all compete in a number of events, and I know you're saying technique is very important. Well, I recently went axe throwing a few months ago and was terrible at it. So can you kind of talk to me about axe throwing and what's the special? Like, what is the special ingredient that I was missing?
Man, I'm trying to figure that out myself.
Yeah.
I compete more in the axe competition, like underhand chop,
Yeah.
tree felling and stuff like that. A new officer we have, which is also a freshman this year, her name is Paige. She got second place in the axe throw competition in Arkansas, and she's really good at it. But from what I can tell so far with axe throw, it's all about the distance you are from the target. You have to be within 15 to 30 feet away from it, but within the 15 to 30 feet range, you yourself have to be able to pace out correctly, because when you throw, sometimes the handle of the axe might hit the target, and that means you have to take a step back to get the proper distance around it. That's the biggest mistake most people have.
Right. Well, I think that's pretty much all we have time for. Thank you for sitting down. Stick around after the break. We are going to see what it really takes to be a part of the Sylvans team. After speaking with Mark Levis and learning more about the Sylvans team, we decided we wanted to try out what it takes to be a Sylvan.
Hey guys, my name is Nick Martinez, and in this Nac Edition, we're learning what it's like to be a Sylvan.
The Sylvans recently tied for first place in the collegiate portion of the 37th Annual Arkansas State Lumberjack Competition held in Sheridan, Arkansas, adding to the collection of victories through the years. One of many parts of being a Sylvan is axe and knife throwing. After watching the pros show off their skills, I asked the Sylvans to show me how it's done.
Like that. And then put your dominant hand on the top. Yeah.
Alright.
And then you're gonna throw it and you can take a step, or you don't have to take a step. It's your choice.
Forward or backward?
Forward. It's gonna be like.
Alright.
Not bad. You can skip back.
Alright.
You can skip back.
Yeah, okay.
You released it a little early, so
Alright.
when you want to release, you actually want to release it right as it's above your head.
Okay.
So if you release it too late, it's going to go arc and it's going to go over the target. If you release it too early, it's going to end in the grass.
Alright.
That was a lot better. Going sharp twist. So if it actually helps, you could probably put your dominant foot forward too. That would probably help you too. When you go to
Trying to figure out what my dominant foot is.
Yeah. What you normally step with first.
Not practice walking. I think it's my right.
After giving it a few attempts, I gave the axe over to Logan, another member of SFA TV.
So this is our goal line. So typically you want to be like maybe 1 or 2 steps back from it. Yeah, about there. And that's going to give you the best possibility of hitting the target with the axe head.
Okay.
So yep. Nice!
Let's go!
I then tried out my knife throwing skills with help from the Sylvans.
Like you're throwing a baseball.
Alright.
That's how you basically do it. Just aim at it, throw it.
Alright, we'll see how we do. Let's see how we do. Oh, alright. Okay, there you go. The second one. The first one I get, the second one I don't.
While my skills may not be the best, we then tried out cross-cutting with Mason and Natalie, who took first place in the Arkansas competition. The Sylvans ran me through the basics of cross-cutting with proper technique, stance, and skill needed.
Your left hand's going to be on the top, and your right hand's going to be at the bottom. So when you go to pull, that dominant arm pulling forward, what's pulling towards you, and then using that left arm to continue that pull, using that pull stop.
Come on, Nick, you got it. We're gonna see. We're going to see. There were no push, only pull. Okay. So she'll pull it from you, and you just pull it back. All right.
And I'm gonna do this. We're gonna get safe.
Oh yeah. You gotta squat and dance. That's all you do.
I'm gonna say 3, 2, 1, and after 1, I'm gonna pull.
Okay.
Okay, you ready?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Yeah. 3, 2, 1. Go. 2, 1.
Nice.
After a few tries, I finally got the hang of it.
It was definitely not as easy as I thought. They definitely have some technique going on here. I thought it was going to be just sawing. No, a lot of breath. You could tell it was a lot more than I thought.
Me and Logan then paired up to see how we would do as a cross-cutting duo. We got a taste of what being a Sylvan is all about, with help from the champions themselves, and had a fun time doing so.
Thank you, Mason, for having us today. This has been Nick, and this is your edition of Nac Edition. Thank you.
Pedestrian fatalities are on the rise in East Texas. According to the Texas Department of Transportation, nearly every 1 in 5 of all traffic fatalities involve pedestrian deaths. Both state and local governments have put up millions of dollars towards building safe sidewalks and safer roads. However, the number still continues to climb. With obstacles in the way of safe walking and pedestrians ignoring the crosswalk and distracted drivers, TxDOT offers these safety tips to drivers and pedestrians. For pedestrians, always make eye contact with the driver while crossing the street. Always check both ways, left, right, and then look again. Never cross the street distracted. And for drivers, obey the speed limit and always yield to pedestrians at crosswalks. And most importantly, put the phone away. You may choose to ignore these tips, but the consequences could be deadly. Remember, it's better to be safe than sorry. Thank you so much for tuning in to this week's episode of Nac Edition. I'm your host, Jaden Washington, and we'll see you next time.